and it's time to go to my favorite segment of all time, a take for 99, where we give you a take in all of sports that is currently indoctrinated in our brains that we want to spill right now. We have the opportunity to do so right now, and we also have a 1 minute response clause if
Yes.
we choose to invoke it. So, whoever wants to go, the mic is yours.
All right, man, I'll do it. You know me. I always jump in that. My take for 99 cents, and clearly it's not 1999 no more, as y'all just heard me say, the NBA is full of players with paper stats. That's what we got now today in today's NBA. Paper stats. Luka Doncic, Trey Young, paper stats, not translating into wins. We got these MVPs right now, not translating into championships. Jokic's got 2 championships, never plays in the NBA. I mean, 2 MVPs, never plays in the NBA Finals. Okay, Joel Embiid just won MVP. He never made a conference final. Okay, Giannis got a back-to-back MVP. He's the one MVP over the past 5 MVP guys to win a championship. Before that was James Harden. Before that was Russell Westbrook. What is going on with these paper stats? That's all we doing. We patting up a lot of stats, and it ain't translating to wins. Because yesteryear, if you go to the previous 5 MVPs before them, Stephen Curry, championships. LeBron James, championships. Kobe Bryant, championships. Tim Duncan, championships. That's translating to wins. And I'm tired of today NBA, Luka Doncic. He's averaging 33, 8, and 8. This dude is all. No, he's not. That's paper stats. Is it winning? Is he winning championships with this? Trey Young, is he winning championships with that? Even Jokic, you just gave up his numbers. Yo, 53 and 11, 30 something, 17, 17. What's going on? Is it winning? Is it winning basketball? So we have fallen in love with paper stats instead of rewarding people for wins. For once, I want to see a champion MVP and a champion MVP play in the finals. Can we do that? Right? Because to be fair and clear, if Joel Embiid and Jokic plays in the NBA finals, I will be happy. Then I won't have to call them paper stats. Okay? Because that's what it used to be back in the day. Steph Curry, former MVP. LeBron James, former MVP, play in the finals. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see this paper stuff. They give out these awards to all of these players, first teams, second teams, and all of these MVPs just for paper stats. Okay, this dude Alexander from OKC. No disrespect to him. I know he's a young player. I think he made NBA first team or second team. Paper stats, bro. That's not winning. I never even seen stuff like this back in the day. Clearly, it's not 1999 no more. Clearly, I need to get up to speed and go with today's NBA, which is clearly weaker, softer, with paper stats. And that's my take for 99 cents.
Yeah, so I want to throw in my response clause to that. And I actually have a question more so than a response. I'm going to actually send over the mic back to you. So I like the take because I do think that you have a lot of players that really doesn't impact winning. And I think a lot of people, they look at stats and they see stats every night and they attest that to he's a championship level player. For example, Trey Young comes to mind when you talk about just stat padding. And a guy like Julius Randle is another one, stat padding, right? And unfortunately, he played for my Knicks, but I got to call him out. So my question for you is you see Joel Embiid finally, and you briefly touched on it, you see Joel Embiid finally win his MVP. You've seen Jokic win back-to-back and runner up for this one, right? But you also, based on how long, obviously forever I knew you, but since we've been talking sports, you had this thing with Kevin Durant, which is very fair, that he doesn't show up. You always single him out in a way. So
yeah, I do.
How do you manage who needs it more? Who needs to win this championship, this finals more when you're looking at guys like Joel Embiid, Jokic, and Kevin Durant? Who do you think needs it more?
Jokic. He needs to win it more because he's a back-to-back MVP. Okay? When you're winning back-to-back MVP, that's historic. Okay, Steve Nash is the only player in NBA history with back-to-back MVPs and never played one game in the NBA Finals. He will be the second player. That's embarrassing. You're a back-to-back MVP of this league, and you never played one NBA Finals game? That's disgusting, bro. So clearly he would need it more. As far as Kevin Durant is concerned, he's just not a leader. I think he is so talented. He's a very skilled player. I don't have no disrespect to Kevin Durant. It's just people put him on a pedestal like he's an all-time great. I don't see that.
So, and one more question too, because I still got my minute. Do you think that me classifying Kevin Durant as a Robin, do you agree that he's a Robin? And does that impact how you view him and his necessity to win a championship, being that Jokic is the alpha and Embiid is the alpha and Kevin Durant is the Robin now?
Yes, and I totally listen. If more people had your take, cousin, as Kevin Durant as a Robin, I will be fine with his historical place. When they pit him against these historical players and they started ranking these players and they got him over players like Akeem Olajuwon and players like this, I look at that as like, that's ridiculous. He's not even in a class and have nothing to do with the skill set, have all to do with leadership, intangibles. He's not that dude. He's not made of that stuff.
Yeah, I think, man, that was a great take. I thought that was fantastic in my opinion. I thought it was really good, and I hope we could play that back a couple times so people could hear it because they need to understand the inflation of stats and what the numbers are showing and how it's impacting or not impacting wins and losses on the most important stat of all, wins and losses.
Yep.
My take for 99 cents is that Giannis Antetokounmpo will be on the Golden State Warriors. I think when you look at what the Golden State Warriors want to continue, and that is their dynasty, and what the Milwaukee Bucks is right now looking for is what's going to happen for their future. We don't know. Giannis talked about coaching in his post-game exit interview, and you see Buck show on big Budenholzer. I don't know why I said Buck Shoulder. Budenholzer get fired, released, dismissed. I don't know what the future is holding for this Milwaukee Bucks team, but I know Giannis wants to continue winning. He wants to be in a situation where he will continue winning. The Warriors have a lot of assets to get rid of. A lot of young players they really don't want. Probably old players they really don't want. They rumored getting rid of Draymond Green. They rumored moving on from Klay Thompson. They rumored moving Moody, Kuminga, Gary Payton Jr. again, Dante DiVincenzo. The list goes on and on of young players they want to move. And I think Giannis could continue that dynasty in Golden State with Steph Curry on that roster. Giannis will be the point guard, of course, and rim protector, whatever you want to call him. And Curry will continue being that sharpshooter for the Golden State Warriors, a guy who can continue shooting for years to come because all he does mainly is run and shoot, which is not going to take away years off his career because he's not looking to be a high flyer. He's looking to be out there and being that marksman of a point guard that he is. And I think he can continue doing that for the foreseeable future. I'm not saying 10 years, but I think the next 5, you could say that Curry could still be a top player in this league. Absolutely. So for me, I think Giannis is looking at Golden State and saying, I want to go over there. And that's my take for 99 cents. He will be a Golden State Warrior.
Oof. It's a great take. Yeah, I'll use a quick minute. It's almost like you, cousin. It's a question. As the Milwaukee Bucks is blowing up their organization and maybe Giannis is unhappy, what about him to the Knicks?
It wouldn't happen.
He said it wouldn't happen.
It wouldn't happen. Mainly because they just banked on Jalen Brunson. They are, for whatever reason, loyal to Julius Randle. They're not looking to move him at all. According to sources on social media and stuff, they're saying that they're not looking to move him at all, especially the Knicks reporter himself, Ian Bagley. RJ Barrett, they may be willing to move, but they're not going to move Giannis for cheap. You know, it's going to take an entire franchise, an entire foundation for the Milwaukee Bucks to trade Giannis in the same conference nonetheless. And I think it's easier to move him to a Western Conference, receive young players who are still developing into NBA players who still have the necessary, tenacity to do so. And I think if you move him to the Knicks will probably try their hardest to not pay top dollar for him. They'll try their hardest. They'll try. You saw with the Donovan Mitchell trade, they weren't willing to let go of some players. You know, and Donovan Mitchell would have been the biggest star, as everyone said, would have been the biggest star to touch New York in quite some time.
Absolutely.
And they didn't pull the trigger because they were reluctant to move certain assets, certain pieces. So I think that would be the similar situation with the Milwaukee Bucks.
Wow.
I mean, I think if Giannis, based on the fact that he delivered Milwaukee a championship, they will literally kind of collab with him and where he wants to go. So if he really wants to go to the Knicks, I think they will probably oblige to that if the Knicks have the package that they're willing to sacrifice. Maybe you have to throw an RJ in there. You're definitely going to have to throw in Quentin Grimes in there. It's going to be a lot of pieces and draft picks. And the Knicks have a lot. Yeah, and the Knicks have a lot of draft picks. So the draft picks will be more, how can I say it, would have to be the bigger part of the package than the players. We just don't have enough players that can fulfill Giannis, comeback,
Right,
as
right,
far as
right.
who's coming back. That's interesting right there. I would think in any deal that the Warriors make to get another superstar to prolong that dynasty, you're starting with Jordan Poole. And I think
Woo!
let's see if his historically bad playoffs impact how teams across the league view him, right? Compared to last year when he got that contract. So we'll have to see. I thought that the Warriors, right? And this is my last point. I'm using my minute. I thought that the Warriors should have probably tried to get Kevin Durant back on. And I remember there was conversations about them having a meeting, Draymond Green and the Warriors and Steph Curry, about if they want Kevin Durant back and if they will make that trade. I'm guessing if they wouldn't make that trade, Poole was definitely going to be the centerpiece along with Wiggins and probably Kuminga or whatever. So they probably should have pulled the trigger on that, but it didn't happen. It can't happen now. Let's see if they pull the trigger on another star. So, yeah, that's my response clause. And now it's time for me to bring us home. And I wanted to go last. Anytime I go last, it's like, all right, man. Yeah, I'm going to bring us home all right. All right, my take for 99 is that Deion Sanders is not an HBCU hero. Okay, and I'm back to talk about this because Deion is back to talk about HBCUs. In fact, he spoke out about the lack of representation in the 2023 NFL draft where only one HBCU attendee by the name of Isaiah Bolden from Jackson State was drafted. And I got a lot of flack from my initial comments on Deion Sanders leaving the HBCU to go to Colorado or PWI. And let me be clear, Deion Sanders has the right to choose whatever job he wants and take whatever opportunity he wants, just like he has a right to his own opinion. However, if Sanders is going to be or going to have an issue with the NFL not seeking HBCU talent, then he should have a problem with himself seeking PWI opportunity. Okay. And let's move away from the opinion and let's go by the facts. I'm out of opinion mode. I'm ready for factual mode, right? Because clear PWIs have more television exposure, state of the art facilities, thus generating more recruits away from HBCUs. In fact, when Deion Sanders left left Jackson State to go to Colorado, he took 24 athletes in the transfer portal with him out of an HBCU. So even though he got players to go to HBCU, he took them out with him, right? So, let's call a spade a spade. Deion Sanders got what he wanted from an HBCU. He went and he took. Okay, he wanted to jumpstart his coaching career, and that's what he did. So for anybody that's looking at him as a hero, you are sadly mistaken. He is not an HBCU hero. He's just another guy that took a job just like the regular of us would do, is take another opportunity. Nothing more, nothing less. Let's call a spade a spade. And that's my take for 99.
Oof. Zay, you want to jump in?
No, actually, I don't. I think he said it a lot. That's gonna take a lot to process. To be honest,
yeah.
I think. I think Freddy, you could go, and then I'll probably.
The only thing I would say, because he definitely said a lot, and it will take a lot to process. Say,
it actually was a short take. It was a lot,
but
it was
deep rooted. You used it. It was clever in the way you put it together. It was very clever because you threw some facts in at the end, and that was. But the only thing I would say is he did one thing. He got us talking about the HSBC. So we talking about the historical black colleges now. He got us talking about it. It's conversation. So from that perspective, people didn't even know those was options. Now they know it's options. That's the best I could do on that one because you definitely came back with the facts. It was pretty hard.
I think just to pick I think Lil, everything you stated. You said a lot of facts in there, right? It's not. Yeah. And I think and I don't even know if Deion's intentions was to be the face of HBCUs. I don't think that was the intention, but nobody was talking about him before Deion Sanders got there. And I think that's a bigger issue than more than anything else, more than Deion being the face or not, or people placing him there or not. Because I don't I agree with you. I don't think he's the face of HBCUs. Right. And I don't think but I also don't believe he's trying to place himself there. But it doesn't make sense that once he left, I don't remember the college off the top of my head. That's how crazy it is. Like he left the HBCU college. And then everyone stopped talking about it. Everyone stopped talking about HBCUs in general until what's his name that used to coach the Cleveland Browns?
Hugh Jackson.
Hugh Jackson, he stole a bunch of money from Graveling State. And then that was like, you just saw a bunch of nothing outside of HBCU in a positive light about the football players, about what's going on in the programs. But it doesn't make sense that we only focused on what Deion Sanders was doing for the HBCU or not doing for the HBCU. But then once he leaves, no one's talking about it again. So now he's back out here talking about the HBCU, and now it's back being highlighted why players are not being looked upon. Why there's only one player from the HBCU in the NFL draft when there's more talented players out there in HBCUs that should be drafted, that should be looked at to these NFL teams. And that's like the craziness about it, you know? And it's just like, dag, like, why does it take Deion Sanders to say something to the national media for the media to finally start paying attention to HBCUs?
Yeah.
I think for me, and the gist of my take was literally, I feel like a lot of people didn't really call a spade. And I feel like it was a very tough, you know, topic, especially when we dived into it the first time. And I think for me, the first two times I talked about this topic, it was a lot of passion, more so than not speaking from a factual perspective. It was just me like, yo, HBCUs, I want to see them thrive. And I kind of was upset that he left. So it was a passion take, not a factual take. I think this one was more factual in the sense that just like black business, because I seen a lot of people in my comments that first time saying, well, the HBCUs did this and they stole money and this, that, and the third. But just like a regular black business, right? There are misconceptions about black businesses that we tend to just rob people and not do good business. Because I know you hear that term, but that doesn't mean we should stop supporting black businesses. That doesn't mean we should stop supporting HBCUs. So whatever may have happened with Deion Sanders at the HBCU, it happened, right? We had come in contact with bad situations in our lifetime. But the fact of the matter is, he was never a hero. And I think sometimes he tried to play the game of being a hero, and he shouldn't. Right. Like, he moved on. He went to Colorado. How are you calling the NFL out when you just left at HBCU to go to a PWI, who, by the way, back then didn't allow black athletes in those schools? They did so because of a competitive advantage for their sports leagues. So we go back to the roots of everything, then we know what the answer, we know what the truth is. Go back to the root for the truth. And I'm going to leave it there.
Can't argue that.
And ladies and gentlemen, that wraps up another spectacular episode of 99 Pod. And as always, fellas, I'm looking forward to the next one.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Please, everyone, watch these playoffs games the next couple of days. It's like I said, it's electric. And the NFL is right around the corner. I just can't wait, man. Football's right there. I just can't wait for it to talk about more about it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
fan, bro. Jet fan.
Oh man, these Jets fans is killing me out here, man. That's all I'm gonna say. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, like and subscribe to the channel. Get the notifications. We'll be back next week. Peace out. Peace.
Please like and subscribe for all the up-to-date content. We've been slinging shows left and right, slinging content left and right. Please don't miss anything. If you do, like, subscribe, leave a comment, or leave a question, something you may want to answer, something you may have. All ideas are great ideas. Nothing's a dumb question.